Andy Widener. I'm the Solutions Marketing Manager for Stereo 3D at Intel. With me today is James Scaife. We're going to be going through a class talking about stereoscopic 3D as part of a new usage within our entertainment PC segment. So I want it to be an interactive class, so if you have questions, go ahead and raise your hand, stop me, and we can get them addressed. Okay? All right. So our agenda for today is what is Stereo 3D and how it's different than what you hear about with normal 3D, if there is a normal 3D. Some of the market segment trends, some of the technologies around 3D that are out there today. We will cover both glasses and glasses-free 3D solutions. We'll talk about what Intel is doing around Intel in True 3D, which is the kind of the descriptor overall name for our 3D, starting with second-gen Intel Core, going into the future CPU graphics generations. We'll talk a little bit about usages, what usages we're going to be supporting within our Intel and True 3D technology. We'll talk about implementation around how Intel is supporting various technologies, active shutter, the auto stereo, and so on. We'll talk about a little about ecosystem, how Intel is working with the ecosystem, because doing 3D is not just a graphics-based solution. You have to work with all the different ecosystem partners in the marketplace, so that'll be important. We'll talk about where we are with that, and then we'll wrap it up with a summary and call to action. Okay? So what is stereoscopic 3D? So it's essentially, well, it is different than your traditional 3D, what we call traditional 3D. Essentially, it's providing the 3D presentation plus adding a level of depth to the content. So the way that the content is presented to the left and right eye, the brain will interpret that, essentially providing a level of depth to that content, and you will see it either coming out at you or going into the screen. So when you hear about 3D and the ability to deliver 3D, stereoscopic 3D is essentially adding a level of depth to that content. The majority of the content that's out there today is using glasses. So either a passive polarized solution or an active shutter solution. Many of the TVs you have out there today are active shutter based. So we'll have that support available in 2011. We will talk a little bit about that, how Intel's supporting that. We see that glasses-free solutions, which you're seeing today on your smartphones, some of the PCs now are starting to come out with it. We see that will obviously be introduced this year and become probably more mainstream as we go out 1 to 2 years from where we are today. So I think from an overall progression standpoint, we'll see glasses around for a little while longer, and then we'll all transition to glasses-free 3D. So the question is, how does Stereo 3D work? Well, there's either content that's native 3D, so the Blu-ray 3D content you have out there today from the studios that's natively shot with the 3D cameras, the 2 lenses, so that's able to capture that content. There's also content that is converted. So you have, on the gaming side, you have software that's out there today that does real-time conversion from 2D to 3D. We'll talk a little about that from our partners with Tridef. And then there's also content, there's all this 2D content that's out in the marketplace today. There's software that's available from partners like ArcSoft, allows you to convert that content, 2D content, adding a level of depth to that and making it look 3D on your 3D panel. And essentially the display adds, it presents the content to the left and right eye, and then again, the brain does essentially the translation, and then it looks 3D to the user as a finished overall viewing. Okay, so that's how Stereo 3D works. With the 2 views, the human brain perceives the depth and again creates the 3D effect. And you're seeing this today in the cinemas today with the 3D movies that are out there, and then also with the 3D phones and then Nintendo 3DS and so on. It all works the same way that the brain is perceiving the content and then seeing it as a 3D image as you view it. Okay. Is there a question? No. Okay. So trends. So this is looking out a little while out to 2018 actually, and what we're looking and seeing as things like cameras, camcorders, and even the smartphones. LG came out with the LG Thrill recently. There's also the HTC Evo 3D. We're seeing more of these devices being a content creator type of device. It's going to be able to capture content, and it's really going to spur a lot of the overall content we're going to see on the web. I think we're going to see a lot of these devices pop up, create that user-generated content, and we think that, again, this is a display search report from last year. It shows that mobile phones are going to be the #1 shipment in 2018. So we're going to see probably an explosion in overall 3D features. It'll go from a 2D usage to a 3D usage on the phone. So it'll be the new cool thing on the phone. But we're also seeing #3 overall shipments in 2018, laptop PCs. And that's because we think that the laptop PC is going to be necessary to be able to consume this content. You're going to be able to watch your content on YouTube 3D. Facebook will have likely a lot of 3D content by that time. It's going to be, again, another way to consume content. And #3 is where we see the laptop PC. So again, the devices are coming. The content will be coming via various methods, either the user-generated mode or hopefully the studios will start generating more and more Blu-ray 3D content, and that'll be promoted and pushed out through the different channels. We'll talk a little about how we see other content coming. So again, there'll be devices that'll need to consume this content, and essentially we want everyone to be ready for that. Okay. So from a market trend standpoint, again, the Blu-ray 3D titles, most of them are coming out with the TVs. So it's been fairly slow as far as how that's been distributed. Really, we think that the explosion is going to be in user-generated content. We have devices that are available today, the 3D phones. There's devices like the Sony Bloggy 3D, another camera that's $250. The LG Thrill that was released, I guess, last week is now being sold by LG $49 through Target. So we think that the devices are going to be coming down significantly in price, and that's going to be able to kind of generate a lot of buzz, a lot of demand around 3D as things get more and more built out. Even the Nintendo 3DS, price drop has happened on that. It's now $169. So we see that that's going to be happening over time. Also on the gaming side, all of the DX9, DX10 games that are out there today, there's going to be a large percentage of those that are supported via this 2D to 3D conversion middleware. So we're seeing that you're going to have an overall gaming experience when it comes to gaming in stereoscopic 3D, adding another layer or another level of gaming to the PC. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of different trends around the content. We're seeing different ways to address the content ecosystem and how we can address the different usages that are out there. But again, we think that user-generated content is probably going to be the biggest thing in creating the next wave of content, the next wave of usages around 3D in the PC. Okay, so 3D technologies. Real quick, I'll go through here. There's three primary technologies that are kind of in the marketplace today. The passive polarized, from a glasses perspective, this is the least expensive to implement. On the active shutter, this is where a lot of the TVs are sitting today with active shutter. These are powered glasses versus not powered, so it requires a battery or recharging. So you have essentially a trade-off. The quality goes better going from passive polarized to active shutter, but you do have to then, the cost of the glasses goes higher as a result. And so from a 3D TV adoption standpoint, you're seeing that there's some 3D TV adoption in the LG space, specifically around 3D TV. Most of the TVs, Panasonic, Sony, Samsung, are all in the active shutter space, so we're seeing kind of this fragmentation there. But eventually, I think the nirvana, the ultimate holy grail of 3D is what the stereo is going to be. So you don't have any glasses required. We do have a demo up here where we have glasses-free 3D playing media content. Also, there's going to be there's a demo in the ATZ around glasses-free 3D. Because we think that's where the industry is wanting to go, that eventually we'll get away from wearing glasses to do content. And we're seeing that on the PC side, using a PC to be able to view 3D content at the same time as watching 2D content on your desktop is where people are wanting to go and kind of experience that overall usage. So again,